Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho, and today is a little bit different. In the United States anyway, we have what we would call Memorial Day, and that's today, Monday the 29th. Sorry, I had it in my notes, but I had the wrong day. It's not the 31st, it's the 29th. And it's the last Monday of every May. And I want to discuss this one, and it's not really so much spiritual, but we're going to apply some spiritual techniques to it. How's that? And I just want to go over a little bit of history and how it's celebrated today. This is not by any means a comprehensive coverage of it. There's a lot of history in this holiday, but for today we're just going to do some general history and some general celebrations and move on to a little guided meditation with some energy work. So today it's celebrated, as I said, on the last Monday in May. This quote-unquote holiday, it's more of a somber celebration if we're going to use the term properly, is set aside to remember those who died in active military service, those who didn't make it home, so to speak. There's other days like Veterans Day for the ones who are still alive. There's Armed Services Day. There's several other days for the people who are still around, but this one in particular is for those who didn't make it home. So where did this concept come from? Originally, it was called Decoration Day in the time just after the Civil War in our country, and it was a way to honor the memory of the fallen. It was recognized as a federal holiday many years later, over 100 years later, in 1971, which kind of is stinky in my world. The Civil War in the United States, the battle between the North and the South, primarily about the concept of slavery. There's other elements to it. We won't go into that. We might do another type of stream that's more based on history, but this one is, like I said, much shorter. But that battle ended in the spring of 1865. This was the bloodiest on American soil and the most loss of life of any American war is what I read multiple places for this. I didn't look at numbers, so I don't know for sure, but I do know that the loss of American life was substantial because both parties were American, so the numbers were astronomical. Some say it was the highest death rate of any conflict within United States history. Again, both sides were American, so that's a very high likelihood. Because of this death rate, though, national cemeteries were established. So actually, the first time that a nationally recognized cemetery was established was due to the Civil War in the United States. And it was established to help bury and inter the dead, basically so they had a place to put them. They just didn't have enough room in your little county cemeteries for all this. In the communities... I'm sorry, what? Reading my own notes here. The communities would go out to the cemeteries in the spring, though, on their own accord. Various communities would. And they would decorate the graves of their fallen, so the people who they'd lost in their town, things like that. And they would recite prayers, and they would talk about those who had passed. And this was done at all of the various cemeteries where, especially after this particular conflict, because from what I understand, reading the history of this over my lifetime, there really wasn't a single person who was not affected by death after the Civil War. So this was pretty important to people to remember the people who'd passed, basically fighting for them, sometimes beside them, fathers, brothers, sons. In some cases, the women were involved, not as much as they are today, but it was still something that happened to people. Some claim that the holiday was based on a practice that, interestingly enough, freed slaves performed for those who died for their freedom. They were very, very, very impacted by what happened. They set their date originally for the 5th of May. This story is actually from Charleston, South Carolina, and it shows up around 1865 or so, so just literally just after the war ended. The federal recognition of Memorial Day later, though, was attributed to Waterloo, New York. So there's a lot of different places. When I was researching this, I actually found that almost every primary state in both the Confederacy and the Union had their own way of celebrating it, and different dates, fluctuating from the first part of May till sometimes into June. So in the origins of this particular day was very broad-ranging. The concept of Decoration Day was actually moved to the 30th of May in 1868, so that it was not on a specific battle anniversary day, which is smart. This was suggested by General John Logan, veteran of the North in the Civil War, and this date was celebrated the very first time officially with General James Garfield making a speech at Arlington National Cemetery. Afterwards, the 20,000 or so Civil War graves were decorated with over 4,000 participants helping out, a practice that to this day is still performed in Arlington Cemetery. The South had their version as well on a different day until sometime after World War I-ish, when it was unified with the North. And over the years and the wars, the Decoration Day, or as it would eventually become Memorial Day, was becoming known and became something discussed in Congress. Not always a good thing, but of course they had to just get involved. Just what they did and the reason they did it was not. What they did was good, what the reason was wrong. They passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act in 1968, exactly 100 years from the first acknowledgement of Memorial Day. This law went into effect in 1971. This law established Memorial Day on the last Monday of May, giving a little bit more uniformity in their mind versus having it always on the 30th. And it gave the federal government employees a 3-day weekend, a banking holiday where they would just have an extra day off, instead of just being honorable about it and making it on the 30th. So it was about the people who died. No, we had to do something else. Sorry. I'm glad the veterans who lost their lives are recognized. That's very important. It annoys me that their purpose in doing it, Congress's purpose in doing it the way they did, was so that they could have a 3-day weekend for themselves. To me, this takes away from the somber tone of this day. It was meant to be a day to remember those who had fallen in war, not as start of summer fun. Kind of annoys me, but going along with when it was established, kind of what came out of it, parades are very common with Memorial Weekend, the emphasis being on the veterans who are still alive, the families of those who have passed. Cemeteries, almost every cemetery that I've been around has some form of military event that they perform in that time. The veterans of foreign war, the American Legion, there's several other groups that offer meals. They do remembrance services. Individuals tend to go to their graves of those that they knew that passed and decorate, put up flags, put up wreaths is a very common one with flowers all over them. In the year 2000, interestingly enough, the pressure from the VFW amongst other military groups, Congress passed the National Moment of Remembrance Act, establishing a time of silence at 3 p.m. in the local time to think about and remember those who gave everything in service to the country during war. Also, flags are to be raised to full staff in the mornings, lowered to half staff at the same time, all the way up, halfway down. And they are to be left at half-mast until noon when they return to full staff to honor the memory of those who had passed. One more interesting tidbit. The use of poppies, as adopted by the American Legion in 1920, came from a poem by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, and I do not like the way they spell kernel. There's no R in it. In a poem called Flanders Field, written in 1915. As I'm pretty sure it's still under copyright, I just linked it below from the Encyclopedia Britannica. You can check it out if you would like to read it. It's a very touching poem. Just kind of goes over how it would feel to be in a field after, death and almost being forgotten occurs. And that's that's what inspired my meditation that I want to guide you with this after this. Memorial Day is very important because it's a time to remember, like I said, those who had passed, those who passed in wartime specifically, but also you can use it, even if you're not from the States, as a way to remember people who were very positive, lasting legacies in your life, people who impacted your life in a very positive way. So, what we're going to do, what my plan is to offer energy work as we go through this, using some crystal therapy, some orgone therapy, as well as calling upon the archangels just to kind of guide us through this. So if you are interested in hearing the meditation, continue on. If you are not interested, that's fine too. And what I plan on doing, and I'll say this right now, if you enjoy this video, like I said, drop a like, subscribe, and you can leave comments below, as long as they're respectful. And if you would like to share a positive memory from somebody who's impacted your life positively, or from a family member who's passed, military type thing, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. And I don't normally do this, but on this one I will say, if it is rude, I will delete it on this video, just because we need to remember the people who have led us to where we are and created us, either through family members, direct impact, or people who have passed in support of our country, culture, etc. So if it's derogatory or rude, I will remove the comments, just because I don't want that as a legacy for anyone. You shouldn't have to have that. So we're going to start some, where to go, music here. Hopefully it's not too loud for you. I adjusted it down, but whatever the electronics choose to do is whatever the electronics choose to do. So if you would like to sit back and relax, allow your eyes to drop closed, breathing deeply in through your nose, filling your belly, out through your mouth, feeling your belly pull in as you breathe out. Deep belly breathing is relaxing to the mind and the body. Breathing in to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding and out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One last time, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue to breathe slowly and steady, deeply through your abdomen. Allow yourself to feel relaxed and at peace. You are safe. You are loved. I ask that Archangel Gabriel come through to guide us in this journey to the memories. Archangel Gabriel is the guardian of the Western Water, the place where people pass through going to their next life. I also call upon Archangel Azrael, the protector and guardian of those who've passed over, bringing positive memories back into this now moment for everyone. Bring your attention to a family member or a friend who has passed away, finding the happiest memory you can find of this person. It can be a person that's not military if you don't know anyone in the military. A person who's made a positive impact in your life. Bring that happy, positive memory to the forefront of your mind. Step into that memory. Feel the air. Smell the smells. What is this person doing in this moment? What are you doing in this moment? Where is this memory taking place? Sink deeply into this memory. As you remember, this person comes back to life for you. When we remember, they live on. You are now in this moment in time. Allow the thoughts, the feelings, and emotions to burst open in your heart as you are returning to this moment, this memory of this person in time. As you float in this memory, you wrap this memory in love and in peace, saving it in your heart, feeling peace and contentment, knowing that as long as you can remember, that person still exists. Show gratitude and thanks for the time spent with this person, for the impact and lessons that this person gave you in this life. Gently allow yourself to return. Allow the memory to remain in your heart as you step out of this memory and back into this now moment in time. Bring your attention and awareness back to your breath. Feel the happiness and the peace of the memory as you breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One last time, breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in and out, slowly and deeply, bringing your awareness and your waking mind back to this now moment. Wiggling your fingers and your toes as you breathe slowly and deeply. Roll your shoulders gently, bring yourself back into the moment. Settling back, coming back, and when you are ready, you may open your eyes, being gentle with yourself and the memories. Tears are natural, it's okay. Allow your emotions to exist and to flow for a time. Remember always the joy from the person, not the loss. As long as you remember, they are never completely gone.